So hello again. We're in this video we're going to talk about 4 tags in HTML that are going to be somewhat important for starting out. The h1 tag, the p tag, the span tag, and the div tag. So the h1 tag is usually used for headings. So if you put that in there, it will usually default in browsers to having fairly large, bold text. But that's not the important thing about it, because you can change the information about its size and boldness and color and everything with that, with styling, with CSS. The important thing about it is it marks it as the main heading. And if you change this to H2 and make a slightly smaller heading, H3, slightly smaller heading. And again, the important thing isn't the default behavior. The important thing here is actually that you're letting the browser and possibly the user know what the most important or most main heading is. P right here will be a paragraph text, so my paragraph. And I want you to see what happens if you put my paragraph and then my span. So notice here, after this tag, there's a line break that goes over here. That's not because of the line break in the HTML, because if we do this, it'll have actually the same result. It's actually because the H1 and the P elements default to having a line break after them, essentially. So if we take span and we copy it here, you can see that's actually not the default for spans. So spans can be useful for putting specific styling or specific information in line. Divs are very often used for containing other information. So for example, we might want to put some HTML within a div. That's a pretty common thing to do. And then that way we can access all of this with JavaScript as a unit. Now there are lots of reasons we'd want to use div instead of some other element, but divs are in general used for organizing HTML. You can also just put text in them, however. Here is some text. And that's perfectly appropriate. That's done too. Divs also default to having a line break right after them. So if you see, it goes to the next line. And that's not the case with spans. You can change that default with styling. Another thing you can do also with spans is you can insert this, a break element, a line break element, and that will cause a line break to occur right after the span. So for elements that don't naturally and on their own cause line breaks, you can insert a line break. And a break is an example of a tag without an end tag, so this doesn't have a closing tag. You can write it like that, you can write it like that, or you can write it like that.